What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Tim here, back with another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about a topic that I've mentioned in passing on this channel a few times, but I don't think I've ever done a video on it. I don't think I've ever gone into deep detail about it. And it is actually something that has a profound effect on my life. Something I've dealt with as long as I can remember. And it actually impacts my life on probably a daily basis. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that maybe doing this video would be helpful for people who struggle with the same issue. And it also might help people who don't struggle with this issue to understand those of us that do. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about social anxiety. Social anxiety. And I wanted to explain just kind of what it feels like for me. So I know for me, going in public and interacting with people in certain situations is very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. For example, on the way over here in my housing, I passed somebody in the hallway, and for that 10 seconds while you're waiting to like pass the person and you decide whether to say like, what's up, or very uncomfortable. Very, like if I'd known he was coming up the hallway, I would have stayed in my room till he passed. Like this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Interacting with people in certain situations causes me discomfort. Now, I have 10 or 20 of those interactions every day and I deal with it, but it's just, you know what I mean? And definitely when I have to go around larger crowds of people, and especially like if I feel, for example, I can go to Walmart, there could be 1,000 people there. Typically, I won't care. Now, there have been some times I went to Walmart, there was just too many people there. I left, couldn't deal with it. But like, I'm used to going to Walmart, being around people. I have a reason to be there. I can kind of be in my own bubble. It's just me and my cart, you know? I really don't have to talk or interact with anybody. But when I get in situations where possibly I might have to interact with somebody, and it's an unfamiliar situation, or I don't feel like I totally fit in with everybody else around, it's a problem for me. Like it is very uncomfortable. And if I know I'm gonna be in a situation like that, sometimes I'll spend 20, 30 minutes in my room pacing back and forth, trying to like psych myself up to go. Even if it's something I've done a lot. For example, I work and live right outside, probably 15 minutes away from a little mountain touristy town, right? So when the town shuttle is running every night, I get on the shuttle, I go into town, I order some food. It takes me like 8 minutes to walk either from where the bus drops me off to either the Chinese place or the wing place, because those are the two places I eat. Now, the town this time of year is like chock full of tourists. They're walking slow, they got strollers, they got their dogs, they're just meandering around as they should on vacation. When I tell you that 10-minute walk down to the wing place and that 10-minute walk back is the most stressful part of my day. All day, 8 hours at work, all kind of things happening, fine, deal with it. That 10-minute walk down, that 10-minute walk back is the most stressful part of my day, because my social anxiety just makes me feel so out of place. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm having to walk around people. People are looking at me. You know what I mean? I'm having to make all these interaction decisions. I hate it. I'm telling you, I hate it. And I do it every day. You know what I mean? And that's for me what my social anxiety looks like. Just certain interactions with other people, very uncomfortable, very stressful for me. Okay? I always say, if I could be invisible, I love life now. But if I could be invisible when I go places, I would love life a million times more. If no one ever saw me, I'd love it. Why do you think I'm in the woods all the time? There ain't nobody here. Being around people in certain situations, very hard for me. I do it because I have to, very hard for me. And then if you tack on going to like parties, going to like, weddings, going to just like gatherings, going to like award ceremonies, like any type of thing like that, like very stressful for me. I have to prep like months in advance. You need to tell me Even sometimes just like going out with friends. You can't call Tim in the morning, but hey, you want to go out tonight? No. You got to call a week in advance. So you can ask my friends, they'll tell you, yeah, Tim will be like, give me a week so I can prepare myself. If I'm going to an unknown situation, going to be around people I don't know, especially if you're like, hey, let's go out. A couple of my friends are coming too. If there's friends I don't know, it's probably going to be a no. If I do go, like I'm going to have to like get prepared over the course of a couple days. And I know if you don't deal with that, it doesn't make sense, but I know some of y'all get it. I'm very introverted, so I like to keep to myself. And I got social anxiety, so I get uncomfortable when I go around other people. So there's this dual kind of why I never want to leave the house. You know what I mean? It's just easier to stay home. It's just easier to be by myself because I really struggle. It's stressful. It's uncomfortable. I feel uneasy. I get sweaty. You know what I mean? Like, and it can be like a constant thing. And so, like, if you know anybody in your life who's dealing with this, and I think it presents itself in different ways for all of us, but like, if you know anybody in your life who says this is something they got going on, please give them a little grace. You know what I mean? Because when they do, muster up the courage and the gumption to go out or hang out, they might really be struggling. To you, it might be like, oh, this is great. I love going out. And you might even see that person having a good time. But just know, like, it's not the same for them. I know it's not the same for me. It's just something that, like, I don't know why I'm this way. I just am this way. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video, too, is I think it's okay for me to be this way. All right? I don't have to think that something's wrong with me. All right? Like, it's just who I am. It's how I am. And now in the future, if maybe I choose to go deeper and try to figure out why I'm this way, that's cool too. But if I don't, that's cool too. All right? I don't want any of us walking around thinking that we're broken. This is just the way we are. Now, if you feel like you'd like to change that, more power to you, go for it, But I don't want any of us thinking that, like, it's the right way. There's a right way or a wrong way to, like, interact. You know what I mean? Like, some of us just don't do well interacting, makes us feel uneasy. All of us got stuff that makes us feel uneasy. This one is ours. I don't want you to try to like change yourself in a fake way, or I don't want you to try to like hide your social anxiety, pretend it's not there. I want you more to embrace it. And if you can figure out a way to like make it go away, great, if that's what you want to do. But I don't want you thinking you're broken. I don't want you to be ashamed of it. It's just the way some of us are. It's just the cross we got to bear. Okay? And when you look at all the crosses across the planet that people are bearing, it's not one of the worst ones. Okay? You can let anxiety and social anxiety eat you up and just make you feel like you're just so broken and so woe is me, and you can be so down about it and you can make a big deal about it. Or you can just embrace it like, that's what I got. Lots of other people got a lot worse stuff, okay? I still go in public. I still hang out. I still do things. Like I said, I still go down there to the wing place. Pretty regular. It's just, I know when I do it, it's going to be about 20 minutes of hell, right? But it's okay. It is okay. I think we live in a time period where everybody wants to talk about all the stuff that's wrong with them. And I actually think that's good. I just don't like the fact that, like, so many times we talk about what's wrong with us and then we use it as an excuse to, like, not live. If we're going to talk about the things we deal with, the things we suffer from, I think talking about it should be in aid and in lieu of helping us to live a better life. It should not be like the reason why we don't. On the same token, also, hey, some days if I just ain't got it and I just can't leave the house, I just don't leave the house. Call my friends up, hey, I can't make it today. Anything wrong? Nah, I just can't do it, bro. Some days I'll be in my room and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to dinner. I can't do it. Don't know why. Just can't do it today, And that's okay. It's just me. I've learned to live with it. But, there is always that part of you that's like, man, what more would I get into What will my life look like if I didn't suffer from this? I mean, me personally, one of the reasons you will almost never catch Tim just like walking up to a female and introducing myself, which should be the easiest thing in the world, is my social anxiety. Now, part of it might be a little fear of rejection in there, but a big part of it is my social anxiety. I don't walk up and talk to nobody unless I have to. Like if I'm at work and it's a guest at work or something like that, a customer, I can do it fine. If I have a reason to walk up to someone to talk to them, fine. But just randomly walking up to a stranger, it's hard for me to make eye contact with a stranger. Huh? You know how hard it is when I'm like walking towards somebody and I know it's a tight enough corridor, or we're at if I'm on a trail where everybody's nice and friendly and I know I have to speak, that, 15 seconds as we get closer and I know I got to look them in the eye and say hello. You know what I mean? I'm like, here, oh. But I love it. Once I do it, I see them, hey, how you doing? Once it's engaged, I'm good. Hey, how you doing? How's the hike? Did you make it to the end? Boom, boom, boom. Once we've engaged, I'm fine. But just that waiting and that looking up and looking them in the eye, I'm telling you, it's rough, man. It's rough almost every time. And so, sometimes I'm like, man, if I didn't suffer from this, how much more outgoing could I be? You know what I mean? How much more would I date? Because, I got the personalities. If I could just walk up to women and be like, what up? That, I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean? I just walk, hey, I'm Tim, how you doing? Easy. At a party, part of the reason I used to drink so much, because when I was drinking, it dulled the social anxiety. And honestly, that's one of the biggest sacrifices I've had to make now that I'm sober, is I never have that, I don't get that liquid courage up in me no more. I don't have that anxiety block no more. I just have to live with it. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to not have all the other stuff that came with being drunk. Sometimes you got to put your big boy pants on and live life. And that's what I do with my social anxiety. I just put my big boy pants on. I live life. I do what I can. I'm uncomfortable when I'm uncomfortable. I'm stressed when I'm stressed. You know what I mean? I'm sweating when I'm sweating. I wuss out a lot of times and don't do things that the average person probably could do with no problem. And I've learned to just be fine with that. It's the cross I have to bear. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't make me, I don't know, a weird person or less than other people. We all got our stuff. We all got our stuff. And I promise you, there's so many people in your life struggling with things. They'll never talk about it. You may never know about it. But just know sometimes, like that person who walks past you and doesn't speak that you think is rude might have a hard time speaking to you. Okay? There's a lot of times where like, I'll just be like, I can't do it. And I'll just walk. I'm tall, so I can look over everybody's head, and I'll just look over people's heads and walk. Because in that moment, I can't do it. There's 6 of y'all walking this way. I cannot look at all 6 of y'all. I cannot make that much eye contact. I can't be friendly right now. And I know people probably, who that guy think he is? He just walking past us, head all high, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, And I catch myself seeing people engage with me like that, and I'll be like, what's wrong with them? I'm like, Tim, they probably dealing with what you dealing with. They just couldn't do it right now. They're uncomfortable. It hurts almost, you know what I mean? So like, just know sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, that when you're dealing with people and they may not respond to you or react to you in the socially acceptable manner, that might be the best they got. That might be all they got that day. They might have really struggled just to leave the house, just to be here, just to be in this situation. Or they could just be rude. You know what I mean? They could be rude a-holes. Who knows? But some people, it's just rough for us out here in these social streets. But we do okay. We make it. We make it work. We make it work. And like I said, if sometime down the line, somehow I figure out a way to be less socially anxious. By the way, if you've got any suggestions, please put them in the description box. I'd love to hear about it, as well as if you want to share your story on your social anxiety, I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, if sometime down the line it gets better or it goes away, I'll definitely let y'all know. That'll be great. You know what I mean? Great, awesome. But until then, it's just something I got to deal with, and that's okay. I'm still so blessed, so grateful to be able to still get around and move about and be able to travel and see all these different places. If going to those places means I have to be a little uncomfortable, then I'll just be a little uncomfortable. But I'm just so grateful to have the life I have. I'm not going to let nothing, you know, discourage me in it. Anyway, just wanted to share that. Thank y'all so much for listening. Let me get that off my chest. I love each and every one of y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.